Well, disinformation is a real threat, and so's the left-wing media's odd obsession with Trump's would-be assassins and an even bigger blind eye to their radicalization. New York Times op-ed out Monday titled, "Political violence is reprehensible. That doesn't make Trump less depraved," where they refer to Saturday's shooter, Cole Allen, as, quote, "America's first normie liberal terrorist." NPR following their lead with a Tuesday headline, "With no radical footprint, what drove suspect to try and assassinate Trump?" Well, here now, host of My View with Lara Trump. It's very nice to see you, Lara. Thanks for being with us tonight. I look at this, there's like this obsession with trying to create the story around these assassins, right? It was the same thing in the United Health, the Luigi Mangione thing, right? All the stories, or with this guy, all the stories. Instead of focusing on the thing that happened, they've got to create the narrative that somehow makes it normal. What is going on with that, Lara?
Well, I think, Brian, the reality here is that if, these folks in the left-leaning liberal media were to actually look at the reasons that this ended up happening. This happened. We've had 2 prior assassination attempts on the president. We had our friend Charlie Kirk murdered in cold blood in front of the entire world. They may have to take some accountability for what they have perpetuated. Whenever you allow people, when you platform people like Hassan Piker, which the New York Times recently did on their podcast, this is a very radical guy who, by the way, rationalizes the killing of CEOs. He thinks that that's perfectly normal business. Whenever you allow people to come on your shows and say things like MSNBC did in the 2024 election, like if Donald Trump becomes president again, he's going to put same-sex and interracial couples in internment camps. Brian, what kind of response do they think that will evoke from people? So I think the reality is when you're looking at a lot of these outlets, they can't rationalize any of this because they would have to take accountability for their role in creating a lot of radicalization out there themselves. And we know they're never going to do that.
I think that's such a good point. They're writing these stories like they're trying to find the dark corner where he went. He didn't go to a dark corner to become radicalized. He might have listened to the New York Times podcast. He might have heard a young man that they platformed say exactly what you said. I think one of the challenges right now is you don't have to go to the deep, dark woods to get radicalized. You just come out into the wide open of mainstream media, Lara, and they're happy to do it for you.
Yeah, and you have people like Madonna saying that she thought seriously about blowing up the White House. You have Jasmine Crockett there apparently claiming that she thought that some of what happened on Saturday night was fake. People did this, Brian, right after the Butler incident. And I have to tell you, people asked me point blank to my face, as a family member of mine came within millimeters of death, if it was staged. That is absolutely disgusting and grotesque. You have people like Maxine Waters, remember first term, telling all of her followers and people who listen to her, if you see anyone from this administration, you get up in their face, you push back on them. Everyone has to do better. We got to this place because everyone normalized calling Donald Trump, and Republicans for that matter, Brian, racists and Nazis and Hitler and fascists. And whenever you use terminology like that multiple times in a row and you say it often enough, it does stick for some people. And so the liberal media has to do better. Our elected officials have to do better. People like Jimmy Kimmel have to do better. We cannot normalize this stuff, and we cannot give any of these people any reason to do this crazy stuff anymore. Enough is enough. 3 times is 3 times too many.
You brought up the point of conspiracy theories, and I just have to imagine, I don't know this, but as a family member of the most recent target of an assassination, conspiracy theories must infuriate you, because not only does it not show sympathy for your father-in-law, the president, but it turns him into the perpetrator of the thing that he was targeted by. I mean, I don't know, that must be a particular grievance to you.
Yeah, no, it's disgraceful, and it's terrible when it happens to you, but it's also terrible when you see it happen to other people. I've watched Erica Kirk, a woman who, as I just referenced, had to watch her husband murdered. Her children are probably going to have to see that video one day if they haven't already stumbled upon it. And people out there in the crazy online world, Brian, somehow are trying to make the idea that Erica had something to do with this stick. It is crazy. So it hurts when it happens to you. It's frustrating when it happens to you, but it's sickening when you see it happen to other people. And, you know, we all have a responsibility not to jump at the first thing we see. Please source your information from multiple outlets. If you're following one person on a podcast and they say something that you think is a little crazy, please go elsewhere to look up if that's even a legitimate viewpoint. A lot of people need to do better, and if we don't, I'm really scared for the direction of things in this country.
Yeah, great point. Lara Trump, very good to see you tonight. Thanks for joining us.